Hey guys, welcome to Fun Learning. In this video, we are going to discuss about the thenar muscles in detail. With no further delay, let's get started. There are totally 4 thenar muscles. The first one is abductor pollicis brevis. Second one is flexor pollicis brevis. Third one is opponens pollicis. And fourth one is nothing but adductor pollicis. Now, let us discuss about the origin, insertion, nerve supply and the action of all those 4 muscles in detail. First, let us discuss about the abductor pollicis brevis. Abductor pollicis brevis. Origin. In order to remember the origin, just try to remember the mnemonic fast. In that, F stands for flexor retinaculum, A stands for abductor pollicis brevis, S stands for tubercle of scaphoid, whereas T stands for crest of trapezium. In order to remember the origin of abductor pollicis brevis, you have to remember the mnemonic fast. As you know, abduction is where your thumb will move laterally. So, this muscle get inserted at the lateral side of the base of proximal pharynx of thumb, as well as from the dorsal digital expansion. As these muscles are present laterally at your hand, so it is supplied by the median nerve. Action, easy, as the name suggests, it is abductor. So, the action of this particular muscle is nothing but abduction of thumb. So, abductor pollicis brevis, you have to remember the mnemonic fast in order to remember the origin. Insertion, as you all know, abduction is action where your muscles will move laterally so that it get inserted at the lateral side of the base of proximal pharynx of thumb, as well as from the dorsal digital expansion. As we know, this muscle is present laterally, so it is supplied by the median nerve. As the name suggests, it is abductor, so the action of this muscle is nothing but abduction of thumb. Now, let us discuss about the flexor pollicis brevis in detail. This flexor pollicis brevis has 2 heads, namely superficial head as well as deep head. In order to remember the origin, you have to remember the mnemonic TFTC. And that T stands for tubercle of the trapezium. F stands for flexor retinaculum. T stands for trapezoid and C stands for capitate. Now, let us discuss about the insertion of flexor pollicis brevis in detail. Same as I mentioned for abductor pollicis brevis, this muscle get inserted at the lateral side of the base of proximal pharynx of thumb. Now, let us discuss about the nerve supply of the flexor pollicis brevis. As I already said, this muscle has 2 heads. The superficial head is supplied by the median nerve, and the deep head is supplied by the deep branch of ulnar nerve. Action, as the name suggests, it is flexor pollicis brevis, so the action of this muscle is nothing but flexion of thumb. So, in order to remember the origin, you have to remember the mnemonic TFTC. Insertion, same as that of abductor pollicis brevis. Nerve supply, the superficial is supplied by the median nerve and the deep head is supplied by the deep branch of ulnar nerve. And the action, as the name suggests, it is concerned with the flexion of thumb. Now, let us discuss about the opponens pollicis. Very easy. The origin of the superficial head of flexor pollicis brevis is the origin of the opponens pollicis also. Tubercle of the trapezium and from the flexor retinaculum. You have to remember the mnemonic TF. And this muscle get inserted at the lateral half of palmar surface of first metacarpal bone. This get originated from the carpal bone and get inserted at the metacarpal bone. And this muscle is supplied by the median nerve. And the action, easy, as the name suggests, opponents, so it is concerned with the opposition of thumb. Now, the last muscle, which is nothing but the adductor pollicis. In order to remember here also this adductor pollicis also has 2 heads, namely oblique head and the transverse head. In order to remember the origin of the adductor pollicis, you have to remember the mnemonic CN. In that C stands for capitate, whereas M stands for metacarpal. The oblique head get originated from the capitate as well as from the base of second and third metacarpal bone. And the transverse head get originated from the palmar aspect of third metacarpal. To be specific, distal 2/3 of third metacarpal bone. Okay, so adductor. So adductor is where your thumb will move medially, right? So this muscle get inserted at the medial side of base of proximal pharynx of tongue. As this muscle is present medially, it is supplied by the deep branch of ulnar nerve. As the name suggests, it is concerned with the adduction of tongue. Nothing but palmaris brevis. Second one is nothing but abductor digiti minimi. Third one is nothing but flexor digiti minimi. And the fourth one is nothing but opponens digiti minimi. Now let us discuss about the origin, insertion, nerve supply and action of all these four muscles in detail. Palmaris brevis. Origin. In order to remember the origin of palmaris brevis muscle, just try to remember the mnemonic F rap. In that, FR stands for flexor retinaculum, whereas AP stands for palmar aponeurosis. So in order to remember the origin, you have to remember the mnemonic F rap. Insertion. It gets inserted at the skin along the ulnar border of the hand, somewhere over here. Skin along the ulnar border of the hand. As this gets inserted at the skin, it is supplied by the superficial branch of the ulnar nerve. And the action of the palmaris brevis muscle is nothing but causing the wrinkling of the skin over hypothenar eminence for better grip. Now let us discuss about the abductor digiti minimi. In order to remember the origin of the abductor digiti minimi, you have to remember the mnemonic PT. In that, P stands for pisiform bone as well as pisohamate ligament, whereas T stands for tendon of flexor carpi ulnaris. Insertion. As it is the abduction of your little finger, abduction of your little finger is where your little finger will move medially, right? Your little finger will move medially. Upon this muscle get inserted at the ulnar side of base of proximal pharynx of little finger. Okay, so this muscle get inserted at the ulnar side of base of proximal pharynx of little finger. And nerve supply, it is supplied by deep branch of ulnar nerve. Action, as the name suggests, it is an abductor, so it is concerned with the abduction of little finger. Now let us discuss about flexor digiti minimi. The flexor digiti minimi get originated from the hook of hamate as well as from the flexor retinaculum. In order to remember it, just try to remember HF. Okay, and the insertion of the abductor as well as the flexor is the same, that is ulnar side of base of proximal pharynx of little finger. The nerve supply same as that of abductor digiti minimi. It is supplied by the deep branch of ulnar nerve. Action, as the name suggests, it is an flexor, so it is concerned with the flexion of little finger. Now let us discuss about the last muscle, which is nothing but opponens digiti minimi. The origin of opponens digiti minimi as well as the flexor digiti minimi is the same. That is, it get originated from the hook of hamate as well as from the flexor retinaculum. Opponens digiti minimi get inserted at the medial surface of fifth metacarpal bone. Nerve supply, same, it is supplied by the deep branch of ulnar nerve. What is the action? So it flexes and laterally rotates the fifth metacarpal bone.